So here's a surprise, right? No Hulk Hogan show. Instead, I'm sulking, because what I really wanted to do was make a new episode of Ring of the Hawk, and I really wanted to make this episode on Rikishi. But I've tried to look everywhere for this one match, and he only had 5 matches, so I can hardly leave this one match out, can I? I've looked everywhere, it's not online, and I've tried to download it, but no result, I'm afraid. So this episode will have to wait. Whatever happened on that episode of Impact with the Dudleys, Kurt Angle and LAX and Rikishi must have been so crazy that it's completely hidden online. So instead, for my Patreons, I love you all, and we're going to do Ring of the Hawk. What I'd really like is for you guys to drop some comments on wrestlers that you'd like to see featured on Ring of the Hawk next time. But because I couldn't get Rikishi, what I've got is the next best thing. So today, it's another Samoan, it's Umaga in TNA. Or as he was known in TNA, ECMO Jr. or ECMO Fatu. Whatever, I'm just calling him Umaga. If you don't like it, shove it. Match 1, Sonny Siaki and Umaga with Trinity versus Crash Holly and Shark Boy. What a weird match. The little men hit a double 619 on Umaga, and then they start dancing. Umaga doesn't like their dancing and kicks one of the little men and then hits a nice slam on the other. Huge strength advantage for the Samoans here. They could win early on, but Umaga lets Shark Boy up from the pin. Umaga then hits a running knee in the corner for a 2 on Shark Boy. He then hits a nice double team move with Sonny Siaki for another 2. Shark Boy eventually tags out to Crash Holly. Umaga tries to break up a pin but crashes on top of his own partner. Umaga then catches Shark Boy from the top and hits a lovely double team 3/4 neck breaker with Siaki. Man, I love that move. It's reasons like this why I chose Umaga, because he has a similar moveset to Rikishi. Umaga then gets on the top rope and hits a huge splash on Shark Boy to pin him for the 3. After the match they try another splash, but D'Lo Brown comes out and makes the save as he's been feuding with the Samoans. This wasn't as good as expected considering the size difference with the two teams. I thought we'd see more high impact moves than this. Decent match though for his debut. I'm giving it a C. Match 2. Accompanied by Trinity, Umaga and Sonny Siaki and Johnny Legend versus America's Most Wanted, James Storm and Chris Harris, and they team up with Dusty Rhodes. Dusty has been feuding with Vince Russo's SEX faction and they attacked Dusty last week. Siaki gets thrown over the top rope onto Umaga, and then James Storm jumps over the top onto all of them. Umaga and Siaki then attack Chris Harris on the outside and hits a super kick. Umaga then gets in the ring for the first time and hits a scoop slam and a knee drop for a 2. He then helps Siaki hit a neck breaker on Harris. Umaga then gets tagged back in and hits a kick to the back of Harris and a leg drop. Harris eventually does make the tag to James Storm. Storm tries to knock Umaga down, but he can't. Dusty Rhodes then gets in the ring and knocks Umaga down with just 2 elbows. Umaga then misses a splash and AMW hit him with a double spear. AMW then put Johnny Legend away together. It was never really in doubt in this match. The crowd just loved Dusty, there was no way he was losing. The match was a C overall, but Umaga gets a D here, as he didn't really do too much and he did look a bit unsure at times in the ring. Match 3, accompanied by Trinity, Umaga and Sonny Siaki and Legend versus the Free Live Crew. Umaga has some new ring gear and looks more like his WWE 3-minute warning days here. Umaga catches R-Truth and tries to throw him down, but Truth catches him in a head scissors instead. In a cool little gimmick, Umaga kips straight back up and clotheslines the Truth down. Umaga then nails a full Nelson slam on Truth and tags out. He's not out the ring for long though and tries to hit a spear on Truth, but he dodges it. Truth then head scissors Umaga out the ring. Road Dogg puts Siaki away with the pump handle slam after his manager Trinity accidentally kicks him in the face. Another average match here, but at least Umaga got a few more moves in. I do like that full Nelson slam though. I'm giving this match a C. One thing you will see in the rest of this video is Siaki and Umaga constantly feud with their own manager. Why don't they just get rid of her? Match 4, accompanied by Trinity, Umaga and Sonny Siaki take on Danny, Doring and Roadkill. This does not feel like a TNA match for some reason. I'm quite interested to see what happens here. For some reason the cage dancer is dressed as a pirate. I just had to point this out. Sonny Siaki is getting completely dominated in this match. There isn't much ring psychology from Doring and Roadkill though, they don't even try to pin him. Siaki does manage to tag Umaga out in the end and he hits a running knee drop on Danny Doring and then he smashes him in half. Umaga then hits a leg drop for a 2 on Danny Doring. Umaga and Sonny Siaki then double team for a 2. Sonny is back in the match now and he hits a huge suplex in the corner. This is a great match, I'm really enjoying it. I like the way these teams match up, they're quite even. Umaga then does a splash but misses and Roadkill gets in the ring. Roadkill then hits a splash on Umaga and goes for another, but he eats a clothesline instead. Umaga then hits a Samoan drop on Danny Doring. Roadkill then springboards into the ring with a shoulder block for a 2 on Umaga. Roadkill then goes for a top rope splash but he misses. Umaga then hits a super kick and follows it up with a giant splash on Roadkill for the 3. After the match, their manager Trinity says that she's pretty much done with them because they love disco more than her. Disco Inferno, that is. Match 5, accompanied by Trinity, Sonny Siaki and Umaga versus America's Most Wanted. I was wrong, they haven't completely split up with their manager, but they are on rocky grounds. This is being built up like a #1 contenders tag match. Umaga makes a small botch and tags in too early, so they just ignore his tag. Umaga then does get a proper tag and he knocks Chris Harris down with a clothesline. Umaga then hits his favourite combination of a slam and a leg drop, but he can only get a 2. Chris Harris then hits a full Nelson slam on Siaki, but Umaga doesn't seem too happy about this. That's supposed to be one of his favourite moves. Harris then hits a huge back body drop on Umaga and follows it up with a 2 count. Harris gets pushed off the top rope and then Umaga and Siaki try to hit the 3/4 neck breaker, but they botch it. It's a tough move to hit. It looks beautiful when it's done correctly, but when it's done like this, not so much. Umaga accidentally crotches Siaki in the corner and then gets speared, but he kicks out at 2. This is a really fun match right here. A steel chair then ends up in the ring and Harris picks it up and whacks Umaga in the head, but the referee is distracted. David Young, the world's biggest jobber, then runs in and hits Harris with a frying pan, and this allows Siaki to hit the Siakalypse for the 3. It's a really good match, but I feel like this was more down to Chris Harris. He was really on top of his game today. He made it so good with his strength and range of moves. Umaga gets another C. I'm sick of saying that today. Yeah, alright, I'll shut up, you can smack me one. Match 6, 10-man gauntlet match for the #1 contendership for the tag titles. You're eliminated by being thrown over the top rope. It starts out with Harris and Road Dogg. The third man in the match is Sonny Siaki. However, he's thrown out straight away. Wait, that doesn't make sense. I thought they were being pushed as a team, but now he's getting the jobber treatment? Siaki was always underutilised by TNA. I hope Umaga does better than that when he gets in the ring. Disco Inferno is out next, but he refuses to get in the ring, and everyone has to chase him. Road Dogg and Harris then take some time enjoying beating him up, because who doesn't enjoy beating up Disco Inferno? Next up is the biggest jobber in TNA history, David Young. He's fat, he's bold, he's boring, he's stumpy, and he looks like a cab driver. CM Punk is the next entrant, and he has purple greasy hair. You've got all of these guys in here who are worthless, but Siaki is thrown out in seconds. That's not a shot at Punk, by the way. For God's sake, someone throw David Young out. James Storm is the next man out, and AMW hit a heart attack on David Young. They then throw Disco Inferno out. I love that elimination, not seen one like that before. Umaga is out next, and you'd think with his size he could throw some of these smaller guys out. Umaga hits a double clothesline on AMW. He then hits a belly-to-belly on CM Punk. He then squashes Road Dogg in the corner, and then he presses CM Punk above his head, and then he lobs him out the ring, miles away. Umaga then eliminates David Young. Yes, thank you. But the cameraman misses it. Maybe not thank you. Julio De Niro is the next man out. Road Dogg and Chris Harris eliminate each other. Umaga then hits a big clothesline on De Niro to flatten him. Umaga then tries to squash Storm, but misses. De Niro then follows that up with a lovely kick to Umaga's face. R-Truth is the last man out. Umaga then chucks out De Niro in another nice elimination. Umaga then squashes Truth in the corner. Do you know what? This is exactly how you want to see a big man in an over-the-top rope match. He should be booked dominantly. Umaga then does a double butt drop on Storm and R-Truth. However, he starts getting cocky and yelling into the camera. They both push him over the top rope with their leg as he goes for another one. The match is eventually won by R-Truth. I'm going to give Umaga an A for this performance. He was booked perfectly and he made the match really entertaining. It was pretty much built all around him. If he wasn't in this match, it would have been boring. In fact, if there had been more men in this match, like a Royal Rumble, he'd have been even better. That's not his fault though. Match 7, accompanied by Trinity. Umaga and Sonny Siaki versus CM Punk and Julio De Niro. The commentary team keep hyping Umaga, but Sonny Siaki seems to have been an afterthought in this team. Siaki hits a huge suplex on CM Punk that looks like it nearly breaks his neck. Umaga then catches Julio from the top and hits a powerful slam, and then he drops his knee on De Niro. Punk has to break up the pin. Umaga isolates De Niro and smashes him with his massive head. Siaki and Umaga then hit a double choke slam. Umaga then squashes De Niro in the corner and hits a big slam. Umaga then misses a splash and CM Punk gets the tag. Punk then hits a fake looking DDT on Umaga and then gets him out of the ring. Umaga then knocks them both down with a double clothesline and a super kick for CM Punk. He's really fun to watch when he's on fire like this. They then start arguing with their manager Trinity, and this leads to a loss as the Cruiserweights dropkick Umaga from the top and he trips over Siaki into the pin. Wow, TNA management couldn't make their mind up about this team, could they? Did they want to push them or not? And that would be where our story ends. Umaga left TNA and went to fight for New Japan. However, there is one final Umaga match in TNA. I'll give you the backstory first. Goldilocks had been collecting TNA wrestler contracts and bullying them. She owns Abyss, Shark Boy and D-Ray 3000. One of the other wrestlers that she'd collected was Sonny Siaki, who'd been relegated to giving her foot rubs and sniffing them. Match 8. So this is the last Umaga match in TNA. It's about 8 months after the last one. It's the only singles match he had in TNA. Umaga with Desire versus Alex Shelley with Goldilocks. If Shelley wins, Goldilocks wins Umaga's contract. Umaga starts out hitting a huge spinebuster on Shelley. He then hits a scoop slam and an elbow drop. He then hits a big suplex and Shelley hasn't hit a single move at this point. Umaga then crushes Shelley in the corner but he still doesn't go for a pin. Umaga then goes for a splash but Goldilocks distracts him. Desire chases her out of the arena. Shelley then hits a move off camera and tries to keep Umaga grounded. There's then an awkward botch as Shelley tries to go for a move, I'm not quite sure what it was. Umaga tries to ignore that it happened and hits a full Nelson slam straight away. Umaga then hits a super kick. He then adds a new move to his arsenal, but he's unable to pin him as Goldilocks runs back out to distract the referee. Umaga then hits a top rope splash, but the referee is trying to break up the cat fight on the outside of the ring. The idiot Abyss then runs out and smashes Umaga twice in the head with a chair. Abyss then hits the black hole slam and puts Shelley on top of Umaga for the 3. I'm going to give this match an F. Do you know why I'm going to give this match an F? Well, the implications of this match are that Goldilocks now owns Umaga's contract, although this storyline never went anywhere because Umaga would never appear again for TNA, and he'd re-sign with WWE. There was also that botch. That wasn't great either, was it? Not long after this, he'd become the Umaga in WWE that we all loved and we all sadly miss to this day. Rest in peace, Umaga.
So the final question, brother, is does Umaga belong on Ring of the Hawk? Well, the answer, dude, is a resounding yes. And if Umaga was still here today, I'd be willing, brother, for him to do the J.O.B. to me any night, any day.